Welcome back, Generals, to another Let's Fix Generals 0 Hour to make the best game ever. Good, last session we did prepare a change, a refactor. It didn't build, so actually we need to check what we screwed up there. So let me stash this again. And then let's get back to, what was it? Refactor. Remove, yeah, this one. Okay, what did we mess up? Let's see. Let's see. Mm-hmm. 'Hello. Good. So all targets are failing. Let's look at this one. View details. Oh. Local function. What is that? Three, 6, 7. Oh, I already see the red here. Huh? What? Hmm. 3, 6, 6. What? I don't understand what the problem is. Why is this complaining? Member function may not be declared outside its class. Oh, that's why. Ah, I see. Okay, that explains it. let me search for this in generals as well. Okay, and then we need to create a fix-up commit. This one. Okay. Let's see if that compiles. Okay, let's wait a moment for the compilation. Could not fetch VTMiti. What happened there? Does this no longer exist? What is this? Vitimiti. Is this gone or what happened? Okay. Maybe he privated it or deleted it. Okay. Okay, well, in that case, I can remove the remote. Delete. Yes. I can probably also remove this one. I haven't seen activity here in a while. Jalalas, remove this. Zambas I haven't seen in many months, so let me remove that. This guy I haven't seen for many months, so let's remove that. J. James did like one change and then disappeared, so let's remove that. Yeah, I think that's up to date. Okay, so it seems it's building now. Yeah. Okay, cool. Then let's get back to Ghost Object 2. Stash pop. All right. Okay, cool. Good. So what we want to do now is, what do we want to do? Let me think about this. So overall things work quite well. Okay, let's remove the junk. We remove this here. Yeah, there's still some work to do. Okay, this function we also no longer call, right? So we can remove that. So we remove this guy and this guy. Okay. Okay, then refresh objects. Yeah. Okay, we need to start submitting some stuff. We can remove this here as well. I would also like to move this code here into a function that we call refresh ghost objects. Refresh ghost objects. Old player. if we create a new function, then we would have to pass an index of a non-local player, which is a bit weird. Yeah. Fresh shroud for local player. I wonder if we should call this from the outside. Reset. What is reset doing? Okay, so I'm inclined to call here the partition manager and refresh shroud for local player and call that here. And then we no longer call it from inside this function. Yeah. Let's test that before we commit to that. Okay, so has this now built? Yes, fantastic. Everything is green. The comments won't be missed. 15,000. The EA guys went through the trouble over time adding 15,000 of these useless comments. Well, I mean, the game is duplicated, so half, 7,500. Yeah. What a shame. Okay, let's give this a spin. That works. Okay, cool, fantastic. Then we can remove this. By the way, I would like to test. I would like to test if everything's still okay when we play skirmish. Yeah. I would like to scroll down real fast to the enemy base. If the okay, because we changed this one value from 0 to max int. I was worried that maybe we see the enemy buildings for a moment, but we don't. Good. Okay, let's try for a moment to see if things still work normal. Shadow appears, and shadow disappears immediately. Fantastic. Let's see the car appear. Okay, fantastic. Works. Okay, so we can remove this guy. Now regarding okay, so I don't think it makes much sense to put it into a separate function, this piece, because we do require this player, and we only get this when we do change player here, right? So this looks very specific to changing the local player index here. Yeah, this one we could move away. But I guess if we have this here, then we can also leave this here. Yeah. Shrouded. Set shroud clear frame. So back us at bug fix properly. Do not properly hide. definitely keep definitely keep definitely keep this shrouded from here on, unless the shroud becomes clear again. Okay, this looks very good already. This one we can move into our refactoring. I wonder why we had this one added. It already used it before. Name key generator. snapshots. I think that's enough. Okay. Okay, we still have quite a few things to do. I wonder how we start submitting these things now. Oh boy. Unfogged. Is that a word? What is the proper word for unfogged? Let me ask, create a new chat. Is unfogged a proper word? Unfogged is a proper word, though not very common. Okay. Unfogged. Okay, so it is a proper word, but it's not being recognized here. Okay. Good. So we need to start submitting things because it's getting too much here. Okay, so let's think about this. So we currently have about 3 changes or so that can be submitted. Let me see. We still have this here. Yeah, that's still an open question here. Okay, let me so oh, I just realized here is a mistake. Yeah, hold on. There's a mistake here. Let me see. Okay, here's an error. Let's fix that, but this wouldn't compile, right? On its own. Let's do this. Then we do this. And then we do return now. There we go. Yeah. What's going on here? Something's wrong here. Uh-huh. Let me unstage this. And this here. Okay, so here we see is kind of immobile. We need to look at this here one more time. Yeah. Okay. It would be better if we could get this kind of object filter directly from the partition manager or the ghost object manager, right? Here, we only snapshot things that are immobile and have something to draw. Don't need ghost objects for others. Have something to draw. Something to draw. Attached to object. Yeah. Have something to draw. We only snapshot things that are immobile. Okay, so it looks like this is a condition. Attached to object. Remember who contains us. Partition data. Partition data. I think we need a monkey GIF. Let's look for baboon. There you go. Okay, good. Make ghost object for us. Add ghost object. Ghost object. Partition data. Attached to object. So an object owns a partition data. And a partition data has a ghost object. Attached to object. When is this called? Register object. What? Okay. Object is null. Sanity. If it already has, get out of here. I see. Okay, it looks like we are guaranteed to have a partition object. Partition data, I mean. Hello? Add thing to system. New object. Yeah. Okay. Okay. Okay, so every object will have partition data, but only not every object will have ghost object. Okay, but that's interesting. So we can filter by that. We don't need to filter by yeah. Okay, how about we go into objects. So we have partition data here. Friend get partition data. Yeah. Friend get cons partition data. Okay, how about we add a new function here? We call that bool. Has ghost objects. Cons. Let me search for ghost object in here. That's the only one. Then we do return partition data. Ghost. Ghost object. It's not null. cannot access that. Let's do a debug assert crash. Partition data is not null. It's null. Return partition data. Ghost objects. It's not null. Inaccessible. Oh. It's inaccessible. Huh. Huh. Uh-huh. Get ghost object. There we go. This object has a ghost object, but it does not imply that a snapshot, that a ghost snapshot is taken or active. This object has a ghost object. This does not imply that a ghost snapshot is taken or active. Has ghost objects. Okay, and then we can use this condition in game client. Here, so instead of is kind of immobile, we use now has ghost objects. Update the shroud source of all objects that update of all objects for that own ghost objects, that own a ghost object. Spikers add info. The shroud and so forth. Update the shrouded status. Ghost object enabled. Objects. Update the shroud. This adds extra costs. This is costly. Has ghost objects. Maybe instead of doing that, I think it's fine. Ghost object. Let me see this comment here again. Say until the shroud becomes clear again. Okay. I think this looks pretty good. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Uh-huh. Okay, let's compile this and run it and see if it works. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Game client. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Oh, we got a crash. Oh, that's fantastic. Let's see what it is. Uh-huh. Uh-huh. It's null. Uh-huh. So an object can have no partition data. Hmm. 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 Is that expected? Hmm. Partition data. Okay, I'm surprised because I checked before and it looked like that we always allocate a partition data, but now we have a null here. Why is that? And why don't I see where it's being allocated? What is this? Is it here? Set partition data? Here? Um, hmm. Maybe it's already dead. Maybe it's an object that has been deleted. Yeah. Maybe. Okay. Well, I mean, we can do if partition is not null. Or save. If it is null, return false. Let's say otherwise false. I think I like it this way better. Keep the div small. Regarding this here, we could probably also say larger equal fogged, right? Yeah, larger equal fogged. Okay, let's see if that works. Let's do a replay. Okay. Okay, so click and okay, let's fast forward a bit. Yeah. Okay. Good, then let's press pause and let's see what the individual players see, if that makes sense. Marv sees nothing. He's blind. Okay, what does Mad Dog see? Mad Dog sees these buildings. Yes, that makes sense. He's not supposed to see this. Does it disappear when we step a frame? No, still visible. Okay. Okay, next guy. Okay. That looks good. We see the war factory. We see what this guy. Okay. And this guy. Looks good to me. Cool. Cool. Let's fast forward a bit. Yeah. Let's take another look. Particles will disappear. The beacon is still an error here. It should be here, but yeah, not a big deal, I guess. Okay, but it looks pretty convincing to me. Now he has scanned here, and we see some stuff. Now if we go back and then we click here again, that looks good. Cool. Good. I don't see any major fault here. Good. Then let's make a commit for this. If we catched everything that it belongs to this, let's see. Okay, I think so. Okay, bug fix. Bug fix. Ghost object. Properly refresh. Properly refresh. Go real and ghost objects when changing the player, the local player in the ghost manager, ghost objects manager. Okay. Okay. Okay, and then after that, we make the next change for this guy. This one. This one. And this. And this. I think here we can maybe here we can maybe remove this, just do like so. Okay, and this one will also be a bug fix. Ghost objects. Keep properly keep ghosted and shrouded. Ghosted and shrouded objects hidden. When changing the local player. Changing the local player. Or taking a ghost snapshot. Properly keep ghosted and shroud objects hidden when taking a ghost snapshot or changing the local player. Okay. And then the next change will be the one for the radar. Let me revert this here so we get a cleaner div. Okay, simple enough. Okay, so this is bug fix radar or let's say tweak. Add functionality to radar for refreshing radar objects immediately. Okay, cool. Then we have all the current changes in there. Then the next step is, I think there's two more things we need to do. One is finalizing all this stuff that we did for like actually changing the local player, and then we need to tie in like the observe player into this. So instead of changing the player in the replay, we need to change the observe player, and then based on that, the ghost object should also refresh when the observe player is changed. And then one more change is right now we don't have this one. the debug fog memory, we need to rename this to something else. So debug fog memory, it can still be there. I think there's some debug specific stuff tied to this, and that we keep tied to this, but we need to have like one enable fog status for all players, something like this, and that needs to be compiled in, and then we put that into our game defines, and basically that will allow to then use the shroud for all players, but the drawback is that the game has to do more work. So I think there will be a performance impact, hopefully not too much, but I expect there is. Yeah, because it needs to update the status of all these objects that have ghost objects for all players and not just the local player. So if you have 8 players in a session, it needs to do this for all the 8 players for all the buildings. And so yeah, there could be some costs. And so we need to make it a compilable option. For now, we will have it default enabled. I mean, it must be enabled. It must be available. I mean, in single player, it could, well, yeah, in single player, it could be disabled because there you can't really observe. But in multiplayer, you would always need to have it enabled, even as a player, because if you surrender and you become an observer, then the shroud status of all the players doesn't matter, right? Because then you're observer, and then then you could also argue that I want to observe, or like you're a streamer and you want to observe and see the fog during observing. Yeah. So it needs to be available in multiplayer matches, and that adds cost. And since it's a simulation, we can't like fast forward and skip this tracking, right? Like the fog is updated as the game progresses, so we need to keep track of it all the time, right? We cannot just say, okay, now we have surrendered and now we track it, because then it's already too late, right? Then you have missed all the previous things that have happened, and you don't know what the player has seen or not seen, right? So it needs to be continuously tracked. And single player is the only place where it could be optimized, but there it doesn't matter so much, right? I mean, if single player is likely less expensive than multiplayer. But yeah, well, maybe I don't know if in single player you can have an observer. I don't know. But yeah, I guess it just has to run passively, and maybe it would have to be optimized further. I don't know. Well, there are probably ways to optimize it. I mean, the whole game is so unoptimized. I'm pretty confident that over time it will be able to cut like massive costs everywhere in all sorts of functions, because as far as I can tell, like they didn't care too much about performance. Well, it's not true. They did, but like not everything is squeezed to the maximum potential. That's for sure. There's a lot that we can do to optimize more. Yeah, cut down allocations, cut down expensive algorithms, use more efficient data structures, pack data closer together. Yeah, there are probably a lot of things that we will be able to do. Okay, good. But we have a clear plan right now. Things look pretty good in terms of fogging. Okay. Nothing is easy. No easy tasks. Okay, good. Then I think I will take a break here. Yeah. Good. The next session we will do maybe reviewing. Maybe we can do it now. 58. It compiles, so that's good. I need to review this carefully. Like, it's easy to make mistakes here, but like what I see here looks already promising. Yeah. So that's good. This one is gone, yeah. I'm sure this is smaller than this. I'm sure. Is that correct? If num_chars is smaller than this num_chars, and minus start. And minus start. I have the impression that this is wrong. It probably would have to be std max std max or std min. I mean std min. Good. I will do this next session. Yeah. Good. Is there anything else we can look at? No, I'm pretty happy with that the ghost object finally works. I was a bit worried the last couple of days because I really didn't understand what was going on. But now, since we have it all in place, it makes sense. Yeah. It wasn't so easy to understand what's going on there because there was just so much wrong in the original code. Like, there were so many bugs, and the problem, like, if you have one bug in the system, then it's kind of easy to see what's going on. But when you have so many different things broken, then you first need to figure out, okay, you need to isolate like one broken things out of the many to figure out what is wrong and then fix that, right? But sometimes it's not so easy because all these bugs combined, like they make this combined bug mess, and then like it can be difficult to find a way in to that investigation, and that was the case here, right? There was just this volume of issues, and we had to one by one isolate all the individual problems and fix them one after another. And then we did some wrong changes on the way, which added even more bugs. Then we made wrong fixes, which didn't fix it. And then there were other issues still left on the side, and nothing made sense. Yeah, so it was really hard. Yeah, really difficult. Certainly, that was not an easy task. Yeah, not an easy task. Yeah. One more thing I would like to test, though, regarding the beacon. I do wonder, I can't recall if it was in there before. Let me comment this one here out. I wonder if this beacon is still visible because of this condition here. Maybe. But then, yeah, beacons can't have ghost objects, right? Okay, so there it is. No, it's still visible. It's something unrelated. Oh, we get a crash. What is that? Huh. Well, that's not good. Object is null. Okay, what is this? Rally point marker. Huh. Okay. We can. Well, either we position data. Yeah. Okay. So drawable can have no objects. 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 If objects is null, continue. I think it goes in here, right? There we go. Okay, cool. Good. Then next session we continue with what we planned. Maybe we also look into why we can see the beacon. Seems that the beacon is not updated for some reason. Yeah. Yeah. I wonder if you can now see beacons of enemies in the game. Maybe I bugged something there. Yeah. It's a bit worrying if you can see it in the replay. But maybe it's because at the time it was created. Maybe that plays a role. Maybe when we are observer at the time it is created, maybe then we can still see it even if we change local player. So I would say let's make a test. In this replay, let's observe a player that does not see this red beacon in this replay and see if he can then see this thing. Let's see at which frame it comes. 30 seconds roundabout. Okay, so we restart. And let's go to Mad Dog. Yeah, Mad Dog. And we don't see the beacon. Yeah, so it's a matter of like we can see it when it is created, and then if we switch player, it's not hidden. So it probably needs some logic somewhere to do that. Okay, that's fine. That's fine. Okay, cool. Yeah, I will end it here. Then I wish you a great day or night until next time. Goodbye.